His name is Moeed Pirzada. He is a Pakistani and British journalist, writer, analyst, and editor. Let's go ahead and bring him to the show. Hello, Moeed. Thank you so much for joining me.
Sabrina, thank you for bringing me into your show and finding time and attention for Pakistan and Imran Khan.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, I do feel like with everything that is happening in that region, I feel like this story about Imran Khan does kind of get glossed over sometime. So I do want to give updates about that. Before we get into his current conditions in prison, could you explain to everyone, those who may not be aware of who he is fully, why was Imran Khan imprisoned to begin with?
I will just begin by saying, Sabrina, that today is a very sad day for people of Pakistan because the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, it has been disclosed in the Supreme Court of Pakistan that he has lost almost all his eyesight in his right eye. He's virtually blind from the right eyesight. That happened because of the neglect in the jail. But coming to your question, that why is he in jail? You know, of course, several kind of charges, flimsy charges were framed against him, but that's not the real reason. The real reason for the jail is this, that the regime, which is actually led by a ferocious general, Asim Munir, who's Pakistan's army chief, self-declared field marshal, wanted to break him. He wanted him to surrender politically, and he wanted him to get out of the politics. And since Imran Khan has not surrendered, he continues to ask for democracy, for his right, for elections. He never agreed to leave the country, and that is why he's in jail. He's in jail because the military establishment of Pakistan wanted to break his spirit. And one of the things is what is actually happening to him at the moment. They actually want him to perish out of health conditions in jail. I mean, they want him to die of a stroke or of a heart condition, or something like this. And if you want to know the kind of charges they have framed on him, I mean, just imagine one of the charges they framed him, that he married his wife against Islamic injunctions. He shouldn't have married his wife because it was against the way he married his wife was against Islam, was against the religion, you know. And all of the charges like corruption and things are totally flimsy. I mean, they're baseless charges. They're all political.
All political. One of the things I know that Imran Khan discussed is that when the war with Russia and Ukraine started, he did not want to take a position. He wanted to remain neutral. And I think that NATO saw that as a threat. It was revealed that Antony Blinken at that time did say, later on, it was revealed in The Intercept, that this was considered to be a problem for the West, the fact that he would not take a position on that. And I believe that the U.S. government were involved with his capture. To be honest with you, I saw a number of videos that he made before they took him away, where he was telling the people of Pakistan to rise up and to not, allow this to happen. But he's been in jail since then. You talked about the conditions in the prison. So this reminds me of what was happening to Julian Assange at that time. It was like they were basically trying to let Julian Assange's health deteriorate, basically hoping that he would die in jail. Now, that did not happen. Julian Assange did get freed from jail, but it was not without a fight, right? Like, it was a lot of us that were protesting. Also, his family heavily pushed for this. What is the possibility that Imran Khan could be released from prison? What would that take today?
I don't see that he would be released from the prison very soon, unless the army generals think that he is totally politically dysfunctional. If they think that he can be released from the jail and he could be once again politically viable, they're not going to release him from the jail, unless there is a blink from Washington, which hasn't really happened, because many people thought that when President Trump, who had once a very good working relationship with Imran Khan, when he wanted to have withdrawal of forces from Afghanistan, Imran Khan was really very helpful. The Pakistan was really helping. Imran Khan was the prime minister. And it is for that reason that Donald Trump very warmly embraced him and welcomed him in White House and appreciated him as his friend and someone who he liked. So many people in the Pakistani American diaspora were very hopeful that when President Trump will come to White House, and that is why the Pakistanis overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump, that he would actually do something or signal to the Pakistani military. But Pakistani military was more clever. They were able to engage Donald Trump through several lobbyists, his family members and associates close to him. And Donald Trump actually became a great supporter of the Pakistani military generals. So right now within Pakistan, I don't see any strong resistance that can challenge the military. And you, Sabby, also have to keep in mind that the Pakistani military draws its support, financial support, political support from the support it gets from United States, from United Kingdom, from Europe, from the Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia. If it was not getting so much support, it has so much internal political resistance that it would have felt necessary or would have been compelled to negotiate with its opposition and resistance. But since they have so much financial and political support from the outside, they are not under pressure to negotiate with the opposition, that is Imran Khan's party. So at the moment, I don't see any hope. Or, maybe let's see, because the Supreme Court of Pakistan, which is already dead, the country doesn't have any real court. But in the last 24 hours, the Supreme Court has ordered a medical board, a medical board to be established to look at his condition. So there is a slim possibility that they shift him to the hospital, but very slim, I would say.
Very interesting. Something I want to show people as well, because this was another thing that came through with the Epstein files, was Imran Khan. Epstein saw former Prime Minister Imran Khan as a greater threat than Khamenei, Xi, and Putin. Here's a screenshot of that correspondence here. This was July 31st of 2018. Hasn't pointed out assassinations to overthrow governments, coup funding, Imran Khan in Pakistan, a much greater threat to peace than Erdogan. He's talking about Erdogan from Turkey, Khamenei, Xi, or Putin. So this goes all the way back to 2018. So they have been thinking about this for quite some time. And it's still, with this whole thing with Epstein, it's still wild to me that this guy had this type of power, talking about overthrowing governments. And a lot of these roads just lead back to powerful people and people that have a lot of money. But they wanted him gone for quite some time. And it sounds like to me that the Pakistani military was able, they're like, let us find something. So they used the marriage reason as an excuse, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. One of the things that I learned about Imran Khan when he was putting that video out about, because I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I saw his videos telling people to rise up. So I started to look a little bit deeper, and I saw that Imran Khan was like a professional cricket player.
That's true. Imran Khan has been a cricket celebrity. I mean, he won the world as captain of the Pakistani team in 1992. He won the World Cup for Pakistan, and he had been a county cricket player and international cricket player. For 22 years, he played cricket in United Kingdom. He spent half his professional time in Britain, along with the British society. So he has been a very celebrated player from South Asia, from Pakistan and South Asia. Yes, he has been. This has a great appeal. But coming to Sabby, when you mentioned that Epstein email, to this day it has not been understood to who exactly was Jeffrey Epstein saying this in the email correspondence. Though it has not been known, it is believed that it was Ehud Barak, the former Israeli prime minister, to whom Jeffrey Epstein was actually giving his view, because he used to confide in him. The Mossad has officially said that he was never a Mossad agent, but the perception is that this advice was being given to an Israeli decision maker. And when you mentioned the date of 21st July, I remember this thing that the elections in which Imran Khan won the election and became the prime minister happened on 25th July 2018. So this email, which you just read out, is 4 days before the election. So yes, you're very right that the idea that he's unacceptable, he's a risk, he's a dangerous character, though it's totally overblown. He wasn't a danger, he wasn't a risk to the West, but this is how the perception was built up, that he was more risky than Erdogan, or more risky than Khamenei, than Imam Khamenei, and he has to be removed. The perception was already there. And I think the Pakistani military ultimately used that perception to their own advantage.
And from what I understand, he was a popular in Pakistan. But from what I read, like, people loved him in Pakistan.
Yes, he was popular, and now the word popular doesn't describe what he is at the moment. He has actually, assumed the position in popular imagination of a saint. Sort of someone who's inevitable. And his popularity in the election on 8 February 2024, which the military rigged on the strength of the guns, his party took more than 2/3 of the seats. But the election results were changed overnight. The television channels were stopped from giving the exit polls. By the time of before midnight, the exit polls, the way we have in US, were out, and his party was winning by two-third majority. But then the results would change, the television channels were stopped, and by the next day, the military actually created its own candidates, which are now the government. Like the present government, the present civilian government, only had very few seats, like 17 seats in a House of 342. And but on the strength of the military, they are the government. So it's basically the military that is running the government. He's very popular. It is his party who won the election.
Yeah. It just goes to show you, I mean, we have the same issue here in the United States. It's like the politicians that the people really want are usually not the ones that obviously the establishment wants. So it's interesting to hear that from another country. I'm curious about Pakistan and Israel relations. Where does Pakistan fit in all of this? Because I think like a lot of us have been talking about Israel for quite some time, and we're talking about the countries that are around it. So of course we talk about Lebanon, the countries that Israel usually attacks, and the ones that have a little bit more power, but they choose not to get involved in favor of the Palestinians. Where does Pakistan fit in all of this on a geopolitical scale when it comes to Israel?
Sabby, it's a very interesting question because there are two kind of perceptions about it. One is the popular perception held by the people of Pakistan or across the Muslim street that Israel and Pakistan were kind of enemies. In 1948 or 1947, in the middle of 20th century, two ideological states were created for religion. One was Pakistan for Islam, and the other was Israel, for the Judaism religion, Jewish religion. But these were basically, and then the Pakistani people were very much against Israel. So this popular perception is essentially a flawed perception to begin with, that Israel is basically a colonialist experiment. I mean, the initial Israeli people were basically settlers that came from Europe, from Germany, United Kingdom, from other parts of the world. And Pakistani is essentially people of the soil. They were living there for the past 1,000+ years. So the whole characterization, which has been done by the Western scholarship of Pakistan and Israel being similar states, was very flawed. Now, moving forward, because of the Arab-Israel wars and because of the feeling on the Pakistani street, Pakistan was seen as a sworn enemy of Israel. But now, quite contrast to this popular perception of being the enemies, the Pakistani military establishment on a state level always had some sort of relationship and communication with Israel. So during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan after 79 and 80, the Israeli military and Israeli establishment were involved helping the Pakistani establishment, along with, of course, the US, UK, and Saudi Arabia, to help Pakistani military and intelligence fight the Soviets in Afghanistan. And there has always been a desire to somehow or the other be on the right side of Israel, so that the Israeli lobby doesn't turn against Pakistan. And I think this working relationship has worked. But now it has actually started to come in the open because Pakistan has joined the peace boards of Donald Trump in Davos when it was inaugurated. And the Pakistani current prime minister, which is actually a fake prime minister, Shahbaz Sharif, is reaching Washington in the evening of 18th February to be part of the Board of Peace inaugural meeting, which is regarding Gaza and reconstruction and things like this. So I think the present Pakistani establishment is now bringing the sort of hidden relationship in the front, and they're trying to develop a working relationship with Israel at the moment.
Do you think that Israel will try to do to Pakistan what they have done to other countries, meaning that if you don't follow what Israel wants, then they'll try to conquer Pakistan as well?
No, Sabby, Israel cannot conquer Pakistan. Israel can create problems for Pakistani military and establishment. They can probably help India destabilize Pakistan, but it is beyond the geographical capability and capacity. It is not Israel's business in that area, in the sense that Israel has too many problems, regional problems of its own. Netanyahu and Israeli establishment are trying to emerge with the blueprint of a greater Israel, in the sense that while they do not intend to capture the territories outside the present Israel, but at the same time, you see in the past 25, 30 years, the way the enemies of Israel, first starting with Iraq and then Syria and Libya, have all been liquidated. I mean, the regimes have been changed. And now the only real threat to Israel's power, or sort of a check on the Israel power, is the present clerical regime in Iran. If the Iranian regime falls, or gets destabilized, then Israel's power in the region as the regional superpower will become very obvious. And that is why Saudis, for the first time, are sort of worried as to what's really happening. And Israel has also developed a very close strategic equation with UAE, Dubai and UAE, and they have a strategic relationship with India as well. So I think the Pakistani military wants to stay away from the harm's way. They are more inclined on the side of Saudi Arabia. They want to have a sort of working relationship with Israel, but Israel and Pakistan do not have a potential to collide with each other very actively.
Okay. I have a question about the family. Imran Khan's family, are they allowed to visit him?
Sabby, no, for the past, I mean, as per the orders of the Islamabad High Court, the family was supposed to visit Imran Khan on Tuesday and Thursday of every week. But for the past several months, the sisters, Imran's three sisters, have not been allowed to meet Imran Khan. In fact, his sons wanted to travel to Pakistan. They are in United Kingdom, and they have not been given the visas. And just this month, they tried again. But once again, on some kind of technical grounds, the visas have been denied. So not only this, that they have not been allowed to meet, his sons are not even allowed to talk to the father. I mean, just a few hours ago, his son, Qasim Khan, issued a tweet, which has been retweeted, I think, 21,000 or 30,000 times, in which he again basically said that his father is in distress because of his eye condition. He's lost his eyesight, and they really want to come and meet him. But the Pakistani military generals are not letting it happen. It's a very sick and a very delicate situation, very painful situation.
This is crazy. Is he in solitary confinement?
Yes, he is in solitary confinement for quite some time. He's not allowed to meet people. No one has seen him for the past 2.5 years, apart from brief appearances when he was brought to the court. And he's not even allowed to come to the regular court, so that he doesn't have to come out and people should not see him, so that people should forget him. It's like a medieval story of a king, imprisoning the enemies. So the court is actually held in a jail. He doesn't travel out. I mean, in the past, whenever there were political prisoners in a jail, whenever they were brought to the court, they would come out of the jail, they would travel in the cars, people would see them, they could wave them, they would stand outside the court, they'll talk to the lawyers and the public and the media, like the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, also went to the jail, the others. But they were treated much more respectfully, much more humanly. The doctors could visit them whenever they want. The family could visit them whenever they want. Their political workers and leaders could come and meet him. Imran Khan's is a totally different case. I think the character of the Pakistani society and the politics has gone down so tremendously in the past 4 years. But unfortunately, all is being actually blessed from United States. I mean, this is the sad part of the story. I think Americans need to see that while the US system always talks to the world in terms of democracy and liberal values and human rights and, transparency, much has happened in Pakistan. Almost everything that has happened in Pakistan defies the principles established by the liberal democratic West. But not an eye has batted for that. All is being ignored.
Wow. This is a good question from Miranda. Isn't Khan's wife in jail also, or she was for a while? Good question there. Thank you.
No, Miranda has the right question. Imran's wife, Bushra Bibi, continues to be in the jail with him in Atiyala jail. No, she's not out. She's also not very well. She's often sick. We seldom hear about her. In fact, we hear less about her than even Imran Khan. She's not allowed to meet. I think recently she met her daughters, but she's also in the jail.
This is crazy. It boggles my mind, because we've been talking a lot about the Epstein files on the show recently, and there's just all these criminals that are just walking around freely. And then I hear about what Imran Khan is going through in jail. And it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But I don't know. This is wild. It's wild. Thank you so much for the update about this. Where can people follow your work?
I have a YouTube channel in English. It's called Iconoclast with Multimedia, and they can follow me on my Twitter. I post very regularly. I write very regularly. But this is an English channel. They can just search me, Iconoclast with Moided Pirzada. I have Urdu Hindi channels as well, but most of your viewers would not find them accessible.
Okay. All right. Moided, thank you so much for coming on.
Sabby, thank you so much for letting me come and explain the Pakistani situation. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.